Billy Luna.
Los Angeles has long been the gang capital of the United States. The most powerful gangs in Los Angeles are NOT the Crips, Hells Angels, 18th Street, Mongols, Bloods, MS-13, nor the Russian Mafia. The most ferocious gangs in LA are comprised of members of Los Angeles law enforcement. Let me know what you all think about it in the comments. Many of these gangs are made up of deputies in the LA County Sheriff's Department, one of the largest law enforcement agencies in America, with more than 18,000 deputies. Violent outlaw deputy gangs have plagued the streets of LA since the late 1960s, with names like Little Devils, Grim Reapers, Lynwood Vikings, Compton Executioners, and Jump Out Boys. These law enforcement street gangs are comprised of murderous gangbangers with badges. In this video, I will take you deep into the subculture of these murderous Los Angeles law enforcement gangs.
Please subscribe to the Billy Luna channel and like the video. Thank you.
LA has long had a problem with rogue, murderous cliques of law enforcement officers. The Rampart scandal, one of the most notorious police corruption incidents in U.S. history, rocked Los Angeles in the late 1990s and early 2000s. It exposed widespread criminal activities within the LAPD's Rampart division, specifically its so-called Crash anti-gang unit. The fallout implicated a gang of over 70 officers in a myriad of misconducts, including unprovoked shootings, beatings, murder, planning false evidence, drug dealing, bank robbery, and much more. The Crash unit was basically a murderous, drug-dealing gang of cops within the LAPD. Rampart officers wore tattoos of the Crash logo, a skull with a cowboy hat encircled with poker cards depicting the dead man's hand, aces and eights. The amazing early 2000s TV show, The Shield, was inspired by the Rampart scandal. The original name of the show was supposed to actually be Rampart. The first major incident leading to the Rampart scandal was on March 18, 1997. LAPD undercover officer Frank Liga fatally shot plainclothes Rampart Crash officer Kevin Gaines in a road rage confrontation. Liga claimed self-defense, alleging that fellow cop Gaines had threatened him with a gun and thrown up street gang signs at him. Subsequent investigations revealed Gaines' connections with Death Row Records and Blood Gang affiliations. Crash officers would get together at the Shortstop, a bar near Dodger Stadium in Echo Park, to drink and celebrate shootings. Supervisors handed out plaques to shooters containing red or black playing cards. A red card indicated a wounding, and a black card indicated a killing, which was considered more prestigious. The turning point in the scandal came in May 1998, when 8 pounds of white powder went missing from an LAPD evidence room. Focus quickly turned to Rafael Perez, a Crash officer who was later arrested on August 25, 1998, for white powder theft. In exchange for a reduced sentence, Perez ratted on his fellow cops by cooperating with investigators, providing extensive testimony that implicated around 70 officers. His revelations led to a series of suspensions, forced resignations, and terminations, though only a fraction faced actual prosecution. Most of these cops skated scot-free and were never held to account for their crimes. Little Devils, Grim Reapers, Lynwood Vikings, Compton Executioners, Jump Out Boys. These are some of the names of the ruthless gangs within the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. These LA County Sheriff gangs mirror the very street gangbangers that they target for arrest. Deputies in these gangs sport tattoos signifying the number of people they have killed, flash gang signs, and tag buildings with graffiti to mark their territory. Members of the Compton Executioners sport a tattoo on their legs that feature a skull, rifle, flames, and a Nazi-style helmet. Members of the Jump Out Boys Sheriff's Gang all wear tattoos with a skull holding a revolver. Every time a member of the Jump Out Boys murders someone, the killer gets a bullet and smoke is added to the revolver on the tattoo. Almost all who have spoken out about or reported against these law enforcement terrorists have faced massive retaliation, from intimidation to murder. Untouchable and power-hungry, the LA County Sheriff's Gangs run the streets of the City of Angels. You get your stripes in the gang and become a made member by violating the rights of citizens, assaulting them, and murdering them in cold blood. 80% of the victims of deputy gangs are Black or Latino. Gang members often carry untraceable guns with them to plant guns on victims after they shoot them. When there is a whistleblower within the sheriff's department, one of the ways that the sheriff's gangs retaliate against the whistleblower is by withholding backup on dangerous calls, putting the lives of the whistleblower in danger. Other times, the whistleblowers have been shot and even murdered. Citizens of many minority neighborhoods in Los Angeles are far more afraid of sheriff's gangs than they are of traditional LA street gangs. For nearly 50 years, a dark chapter has haunted the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department: the persistent and troubling existence of deputy gangs. The saga began in 1971 with the Little Devils at the East Los Angeles Deputy Station, as reported by the Los Angeles Times in 1999. Over the next 20 years, these gangs gained traction, particularly among white deputies stationed in predominantly Black or Latinx neighborhoods. The first significant exposure of these violent groups came in 1990. Federal lawsuits accused two gangs within the LA Sheriff's Department, the Wayside Whites and the Lynwood Vikings, of racist violence against those in custody. According to a civil rights lawsuit, the Wayside Whites formed a Ku Klux Klan type organization at the Wayside Honor Rancho, now the Pinchas Detention Center, targeting Black prisoners. Although a 6-month investigation dismissed these claims as unfounded, a $40,000 settlement was paid to the prisoners. In the same year, a class action lawsuit involving over 100 residents of Lynwood alleged the Lynwood Vikings engaged in brutal tactics, including stun gun interrogations, beatings, mock executions, and racial discrimination. In 1991, a federal judge ruled against the LA Sheriff's Department, labeling the Vikings as a neo-Nazi white supremacist gang and criticizing their terrorist-type tactics. The department settled the case in 1996 for $7.5 million and agreed to create a database to track deputy misconduct and spend $1.5 million on force training. An independent investigation commissioned by the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors in 1992 backed many allegations. The report revealed gang-like behaviors at the Lynwood station, including graffiti, abuse of detainees, and intimidation of supervisors. Deputies even reportedly harassed sergeants, ignoring orders, and vandalized supervisors' cars. Despite these findings, the LA Sheriff's Department's response was limited to transferring 16 deputies from the Lynwood station. No firings ensued, and violence by deputy gangs persisted. Some Vikings members even ascended through the ranks, notably Paul Tanaka, who rose to second in command of the LASD, despite his involvement in a fatal shooting of an unarmed man in 1988, when the 3000 Boys deputy gang clashed with other deputies at a Christmas party. Although 6 deputies were fired, Sheriff Lee Baca dismissed the incident as the drunkenness of a few bad apples. Investigations by the ACLU, FBI, and an independent commission revealed that deputy gangs were responsible for numerous violent incidents in county jails, often covered up by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department leadership. In 2011, retired FBI agent Thomas Parker, investigating for the ACLU, uncovered systematic cover-ups of jail violence. He reported severe injuries and deaths, frequently caused by deputies, who then neutralized potential lawsuits by charging the victims with assault. In 2013, the LA County Sheriff's Department terminated 7 members of the Jump Out Boys, a gang that glorified aggressive policing and shootings. Accountability finally arrived in 2015 when former Sheriff Lee Baca and his undersheriff Paul Tanaka, a tattooed member of the Lynwood Vikings sheriff gang, faced federal charges for covering up jail violence. Convicted of conspiracy and obstruction, Baca and Tanaka received 3- and 5-year sentences respectively. Recently elected LA Sheriff Robert Luna has vowed to crack down on deputy gangs. Let's see what comes of this. Let me know what you all think about it in the comments.
Billy Luna.
Please subscribe to the Billy Luna channel and like the video. Thank you.